Hello, welcome to my channel, Mackenzie Customs. We're doing another tutorial. We're going to be doing a painting called Sunset in the Valley. Colors we're going to be using is a deep green, orange, a deep yellow, titanium white, lamb black, crimson red, dark umber, and light umber. And we can make this a little lighter with some of the yellow. Same with the green. We made this a little lighter by adding some of the yellow. So we'll get started. First color you want is some of this crimson. And we'll just start in the center. And you only want to fill in about that much. Next color we'll grab is some of this orange. Grab a bit more for the bottom of the crimson red. And you just want to blend them together. Pulling a little bit of that orange up into the crimson red and kind of blending the red down into the orange. And we'll do the same for the top. Now we'll grab some of our medium yellow. And then we can just take our brush and soften it. And the slower you go over this, the easier it is to soften it. And so once you got that, it should look something like that. Next, we're going to grab our palette knife. We're going to get some of this lamb black. You just want to get a little roll on the edge of it. Just a tiny amount. And start right about here. And you want to pull downward, creating these little jagged movements. It's okay if you need to grab more paint. We don't need to worry about filling in the mountain right now. All we're worrying about is the top edge. You want to make sure that top edge is nice and clean, nice and crisp. Once you got that top line looking the way you want it, you can go to the other side. Like I said, once you got that edge in there, that's the most important part that you want to pay attention to right now. Then we can get a liner brush or small little detail brush, and we can just come in and touch up any of these spots. Now that you got that a little more detailed to the way that you like it, we can get our brush that we were using to make the background sky. Just want to make sure that it's clean. And we can just start pulling this down from it. Oh, just pulling it downward. You just want to blend this color all in. Just get it in there. Now that you got most of the shading in, we can just pull from this bottom edge here. Get it a little more. And just get a little bit more black on there if we need to for that mountain. We don't need too much black. It doesn't have to be completely black. We just want some of that shadow in there. Now that you got that in there, we get our liner brush. We're going to use a little liner brush here. Get some of that land black, a little titanium white. Doesn't have to be an exact match, just any color a little lighter than the black that you put on. And we'll start right at the peak and just do this little motion going down. Maybe another little one over here. And that's just, these lines are just going to tell us where our highlight and shading should be. And because it's just a sunset, it's not going to matter what side we do the highlight or shading. So for the mountain colors, we're going to want to get some of our titanium white and just a little bit of our phthalo blue, and just put a little bit of phthalo blue in with the white and just make it a little bit less white, just a tint of blue to it. So once you got your blues mixed up, it should be a lighter blue, one a little bit darker. And I guess we'll start with this dark blue first. We'll make this side the shaded side. You just want to pull that. You just want to try and get it along this ridge before you pull it outwards. You can just pull it down. We'll get some in this part here. And just pull that down on an angle as well. We don't need to fill in that area yet because we're going to use that for the lighter color. Well, same thing, just get a thin little roll of paint on there of the lighter color. And you just want to come up in there and pull down. Going the opposite way, pulling this way. Now that you got that one in there, you remember we put this one in here. Oh, we just come right here. And same thing. And so we can see the edge on this one a little nicer. We'll take some of that darker blue. And you just want to come in along that top edge. And pull it down. Now that we got that side in there, we're going to take some of our lighter color. And the same thing on this side. We'll start up here at the peak, just pulling it down. And you just want to pull this down. The faster you pull it, the more you'll get these little details. And you want to make sure you have it nice and on a flat angle. You want to get that top edge. And same thing, just pull it down. We're just going to get some of our darker blue. And we'll pop some of our darker blue in there as well too. Now that we got our mountain in there, we can just get our clean brush. Just something that we can use to clean up this edge. Once you got that cleaned up, we're going to take some of our deep green and a fan brush. I just want to use some of this deep green. Now we're going to go right along this edge here. And what you want to do is just hit it with the top corner. Moving it up and down just a little bit. creating these little high and low spots. And once you got the rough idea of the highs and lows spots that you're going to be putting in there, you just want to get more and just go back over it a second time. And you can tell I'm hitting the canvas pretty hard with the brush. But you want to be doing that, get the color blended in there. We can get a bit more color on there if we need to. You got this in there. Doesn't need to be perfect because you're just really creating a shadow right now. Yeah, same thing. We'll just get some of our lighter green. And you can just start popping in some color. And same thing, we're just going to continue across. Just popping in some color. Once you got the color popped in there, we can go with just a little bit lighter. And what this does is just add different colors of depth to the distant trees that we're creating. So it doesn't need to be perfect. And so once we got that in there, we can just we can use a fan brush. You just want to come along this bottom edge. Not too far, just kind of cleaning it up a bit. So we got that cleaned up a little bit, we can just get a clean brush and blend this there. Oh, we got that blended out. If we want, we could take some of our orange just to clean that up a little better. And since we did a little bit of orange there, we should bring the orange in here a little bit more too for the painting that we're doing. And that'll be good enough. So now what we want to do is we want to get a little chisel brush. Something like this isn't the one, but something like that. Just a chisel brush. And you want to take some of that dark green. And you just want to come from this very corner where the tree is, dragging all the way across over to this other corner. Now what we're going to do is just fill this in. We can fill that in with the same dark green that we were using. We're just pulling the color down. This part here isn't as important because we'll have a part coming across. We're just going to get the rest of this in. And it doesn't have to look perfect. We're just trying to get the color in there right now. Now that we got the color in, we can just kind of come and just do, you want to just lightly brush across it, and that'll help soften it, like I was saying. We don't need a perfect blending or anything, because like I say, this is more so shadow color. Now that we got that shadow color in there, we're going to take some of our dark umber. First, we just want to come right across. And that just gives us more of our land that's back there. Now with that same dark umber, get a little bit more loaded up on the brush. Then we can come from this corner. Not quite as much of an angle, but just bring it across like that. Now that we got that in there, you can see we're going to have this more lowered piece of ground, and we'll have this a higher piece of ground. The first thing you want to do down here is get some of that lighter green that we were using. And just start popping in some color. I guess it doesn't need to be perfect. You're just getting some color in there. It's going to add a little bit of highlights and some shadowed areas. You don't want it to be all the same color. All we're doing is just dabbing in the color, leaving some of it a little darker, a little bit lighter. Now we're going to grab some of our, just a bit of our yellow there, and we're going to lighten that up a bit. And you can see how the yellow lightens up the green, changes the contrast of it. Now that we got some of that lighter green mixed up, we'll do the same thing. That should be good enough for that side for what we're doing. Now we're going to do the same thing over here, but we'll take some of this green, the light green, but not the one with the extra added yellow. And same thing over here. Just want to pop in some color. All we're doing is just grabbing some of the thick paint, picking it up and placing it, and just spreading it around. I'm just going to grab some of that darker green and do the same thing, just pop in a little bit of color here and there. Yeah, so what we'll do now, we're gonna start with the trees. We'll get some trees in here. To do that, you just want to take some of this dark umber color, a little liner brush, and we can put one right here. And you can put your trees wherever you like. Another one down here. We'll give that tree another little one right here. And we'll do one big one. Way up high. Going right down to the bottom. And same thing over here. We'll just do tree coming right down here. Now we can just make it get a little bit bigger as it goes down. A lot of it won't really matter, it's just giving us the idea of where we're putting the trees is all. Maybe we can do another little guy. Right there. Now that we got that like that, we can take some of our dark green, clean fan brush. I'm just going to start with the corner there, up at the top. And work your way down a little zigzag pattern. This is just shadow color, like I say. You always need a little bit of shadow color in there. These ones here, you just want to start on that stick you made, pulling on an upwards motion and out. Do the same thing for the other side. Now we got that shadow color in there. You can do the same for the rest of these little trees. Like I said, these trees don't need to look perfect right now. This is just some shadow color. Come over to this big tall one here. We're just going to do the same thing but with some lighter green. Do the same thing on this one. Down here we can't really see it as much, so maybe we'll add a little bit of a darker green to that. So that we can just take some of our dark umber, mix it with our green, or dark green. And you can see it makes it a lot darker. And we'll just do the same thing for the lower part. Just so we have a bit more shadow. And we can take some of our yellow, mix that with our lighter green. So we got these ones in there. We're going to get a little bit more light green in here so we can see a little bit more detail. Now we can do these ones. And to do those, we'll take some of our light green that we have. You just want to kind of pop in some color. So now that we got some trees, we can just take our hand brush and you just want to lightly clean up that bottom edge. And so you got it like that. Call that a painting. Like I say, you could always add some more trees or add the trees wherever you like. Maybe add a couple birds in the background. The last thing you want to make sure you do is make sure you sign it. For that, we're just going to use some of our titanium white. To sign it, I'm just going to use some of this titanium white with a little bit of the black on it. It won't make much difference. I'm going to come down here in this corner. And that's that. If you like this painting and you find this information helpful, you can like and subscribe. We do a new tutorial every week. It was great having you. See you next time.